Weird Strict Dad Chapter 2 is finally here in Roblox, and I'd be happy to tell you that it's a massive improvement over the first. But then I'd be lying. Do you remember the Roblox horror game, Weird Strict Dad? Do you remember how it was nothing but a loud, annoying, poorly constructed waste of time? Do you remember how it seemed almost inconceivable that somebody would want to play a Chapter 2 of that game? And even if they did, how it couldn't possibly be more painful than Chapter 1? Well, along comes Weird Strict Dad Chapter 2, who's here to suck up 60 minutes of your precious life and leave you with nothing in return, other than a dreadful feeling that you made a bad decision. Weird Strict Dad Chapter 1 already had a lot of problems with it, as most Roblox horror games do. Not only was it built quickly to capitalize off of the success of Resident's Massacre, but it was also just really annoying. The entire game just felt like it was deliberately built to waste your time. There was a lot of padding in the beginning of the game that couldn't be skipped, and the fact that the dad would jump scare and instantly kill you and force you to replay the entire game again just added up to the impression that the game developers didn't actually play their own game. Or maybe they did, and they just didn't care. They were just here to capitalize off of Resident's Massacre and farm playtime to boost their game in the algorithm and get the sweet premium payout. And I don't believe the kids feeding into this game care either, because they're kids. Breadian, it's just a kid's game. Kids' games aren't allowed to be bad. You can't criticize it, no. Let me ask you, would you want your child playing this game? Well, personally, I don't have a child, so I don't really care. Even though I really only look at this game in the same way that you'd look at a car crash, I do believe that it's worthy of analyzing what exactly went wrong. I'm Breadian, and I talk about niche Roblox games, and today I'm talking about Weird Strict Dad Chapter 2. Oh my fucking god.
How to improve that Weird Strict Dad Chapter 2.
Weird Strict Dad Chapter 2 opens right where the story left off, with you munching on breakfast. Actually, no, it opens with a loud jump scare.
I haven't seen this. I want to. Ah, that was loud.
Okay, I'm turning my game down. Oh, it's already at 1, okay. Why did you decide to do that? It's kind of annoying. And while we're here, should I add that you can't even mute your volume and leave it there? Because there's a part of the game that requires you to listen for a specific clue. In other words, every time you replay this game, either out of dying or genuine love for the game, you're going to have to mute the game and then unmute it right afterwards. The future. I've seen it. I gotta mute the game.
That was incredibly loud.
Forgot to mute the game. Not often that I play a game that rewards you for muting it. Anyhow, there's some padding in there with the cutscenes, who would have guessed? And then the hooded figure from Chapter 1 shows up again at the front door to possess your dad again. Instead of running upstairs though, you run downstairs to the basement. This will likely kill you on your first attempt. Why? Well, let's look at the first chapter. You're introduced to the upstairs in the padding cutscene, and you're shown the mechanics of sleeping and checking on the cameras. However, in Chapter 2, the basement is locked. You don't actually get to go down there until the text pops up on screen telling you to go there, which takes time to read, by the way. It would be so much better if the game made you just take a quick tour of the basement and also let you skip the cutscene if you already played through it. Or, at the absolute very least, the game developers could have just left the basement door open during the beginning segment to show that it's a new room of significance that you can go in. Why the fuck would you introduce a door as locked and then suddenly unlock it magically right as the chase starts, but also only tell you on the side of the screen? Why would the game developer do this? Is he stupid? It's almost like they were purposely trying to mislead you so that you'll die and replay the game for more playtime. They could have also just put a fucking sound effect to show that the door opened, you know, since they just love spamming sound effects everywhere. Ow. Can I
Is it doors sound effects again?
the eyes sound effect from Roblox Doors?
No, didn't you recognize the radio model?
And the radio? Thanks for reminding me of a better game I could be playing right now. How about just a click to show that the door unlocked? Okay? I don't know. Alright, so the basement is where you're going to be spending most of your time in the game. You're tasked with making a potion before 3 a.m. that'll cure your dad of his weird strict tendencies. In order to find out how to do this, you're going to need to find the alchemy book, clean it off, and then place it on the lectern thing. This isn't told in the tutorial, by the way. And you know what is? How to barricade the door, aka just put a bunch of Gmod props in front of it. By the way, you have to constantly leave and come back through this door in order to get upstairs. Oh yeah, I think I forgot to mention, on top of the potion stuff, you have to do all of the mechanics from the first chapter, aka refueling the generator, cooking and eating food, sleeping, and also drinking water. Oh boy, the most annoying and monotonous part of the first chapter. I'm so glad they doubled down on it. In other words, barricading the door to the basement is useless. Actually, no, it's not useless. It can be straight up detrimental to you and your teammates. That shit that you put in front of the door will oftentimes get you killed when you're trying to run back downstairs. For some reason, you're not able to phase through barricades. Somebody never played Gmod Zombie Survival or Reason to Die. There's also invisible walls on the side of the stairs going down that are likely to deceive you and get you killed. Instead, the game should have put solid visible railings on the side of the stairs to communicate to the player that they can't just jump down the sides. And you can't even argue that, oh, it'll look shitty. Bro, the game already looks shitty. What? Is it going to ruin the ghetto-ass Roblox aesthetic? Wow, poggers, nostalgia. This sure is a throwback. A throwback to when games were shit. Simple visual or audio cues like this are important to helping the player learn the environment. And they aren't hard to add either. All you had to do was just not make those walls invisible. Oh wait, but then the player won't jump down the sides, die to the dad, and have to replay the game again? And we can't have that. We need the playtime. Also, I forgot to mention, when you die, there isn't an immediate return to lobby button. You have to Alt F4 and go back to the lobby manually. Why is that, you may ask? Probably so that the game will get the extra play counted. There is an option to restart, but you have to wait until 3 AM when dad dies. This will happen even if every player in your game dies, by the way. You're literally just stuck on the floor waiting. So yeah, you either go back to the lobby or give them another play, or you sit there and let them farm playtime off of you. There's also apparently a sad cutscene showing your dad's funeral if you fail to cure him of his possession. And during this part, I have to say, it was a very interesting choice of the game developers to think that I gave a shit. If you're going to force someone to replay the game multiple times, can you at least make it somewhat bearable? In order to make the potion, you have to search for clues around the house, checking them off in this Phasmophobia-style notebook. One of these clues is a constant whispering saying, "The future, I've seen it," that starts at the beginning of the game and doesn't go away. Does it keep playing
People also hearing the future, I've seen it.
Yeah. It's so jarring and distracting. The first time that I heard it, I literally thought the game was broken, or I was playing a YouTube short in the background on accident. And since you have to listen for it, that means muting your game at the start to avoid the annoying jump scare, and then turning it back on briefly in order to hear the whispering. Okay, so after all that trial and error coupled with the loud jump scares, annoying sound effects, and attempts at comedy that are about as funny as a fucking cancer diagnosis, you finally craft the Among Us potion before 3 AM and splash it on your dad. And it cures him. And then the game skips forward to the morning, where you're munching breakfast again. And then your mom comes back after being absent for 2 nights, and then she gets possessed, and the game is finally over.
I still hear the fire. It's a bomb.
I hear the whispering.
Dude, this is such a, a terrible... Oh my...
Weird Strict Dad was a Roblox horror game who struggled with a lot of problems on its initial release, to the point where the best gift that the game could give you was not having you play it anymore. The second chapter is horrendous because instead of improving, they just doubled down on the torture. I initially thought you were trying to branch away from Residence Massacre, but then the generator mechanic is still here. Also, there's a high chance that the generator will definitely kill you on your first attempt. It runs out fast, and if Dad doesn't leave the basement in time, or if you're simply on your first playthrough and are still trying to learn the game, you finna die, baby. It didn't feel like a good type of satisfaction after beating Weird Strict Dad Chapter 2. I just felt an hour closer to my inevitable death. I wonder if others will feel the same about beating Chapter 2. Maybe they'll get tired of being fed garbage. Think of the developers as somebody vomiting in the bathroom at a house party at 3 AM. There's only so much that you can do before people start questioning what the hell you're doing in there. TLDR, Chapter 1 was bad, and Chapter 2 was more of the bad. I'm Breadian, and I talk about niche Roblox games. If you like this video, please consider subscribing and checking out my other videos on my channel, which are similar to this one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.